Yo, alright, I fixed my stream. Got some theme music up. We're good. Let me get back to the stream. I think my voice had cut up. Alright, so we're going to do a few versus battles today and announcements. Let's get into it, alright? So, first battle we're going to do that was requested was Madaka versus Strange Supreme. Now, Madaka is a character who currently that has like 12,000 plus powers. I mean, she has like multiple panels literally just listing what she's capable of. The ones that are most important: reality warping, different types of hacks. At certain points, you could argue impacting the author. Madaka can be argued outerversal. I do have a Madaka explained video coming out, but the versatility, the scaling makes Madaka incredibly formidable. Next, on the other side, is Strange Supreme from Marvel's What If. This is basically an evil version of Doctor Strange who can casually throw around dimensions, put you into different dimensions, battle reality warpers, battle extra dimensional beings, and given he's an evil version of Strange, he's a lot more willing to do wild shit, which makes him incredibly dangerous. Now, if these two were to clash, who do I think would win? I think Madaka clears. I think this version of Strange simply gets outscaled by Madaka. Madaka can also spam a bunch of bullshit against him, and I see Madaka clutching this W against the What If Strange Supreme. Now, next battle we're going to move into is Firestorm versus Scarlet Witch. Now, I actually want to hear the chat's opinion on this. This wasn't purchased, so it's more just a quick discussion. Who do y'all think wins? Firestorm or Scarlet Witch? Both are incredibly powerful while simultaneously being jobbers. So, who do you guys got in that situation? You could definitely win like a just straight up kind of energy brawl and stuff, but obviously Scarlet Witch has OD reality warping. Keep that chat discussion going on that topic. I think that's a fun topic. I'm gonna go into the next topic, which is a pretty big one that I want to discuss, and that is Father from Star Wars versus Yhwach from Bleach. This is a very good battle. Shout out to my boy Dan. Dan, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it on this stream, and if you also want me to cut it up and put it in video format, we're gonna go for that as well. But getting into this, Yhwach is a character, one of the most powerful we've ever seen in Bleach. A character that scales massively above concepts like time, space, fate, and futures, right? He can see all possible futures, basically has every hacks possible in Bleach. I mean, that shit was getting ridiculous to the point that there's characters that could, like, literally mess with the manga panels and black out his name, get rid of his name, and thus get rid of his power and what he's capable of. And he basically just said, no, you. Like, that shit's ridiculous. He's able to match and overpower characters who can easily take out extra dimensional constructs and scale to extra dimensional constructs like the Dangai and other sort of cosmological structures within the Bleachverse. And as a result, not only is Yhwach incredibly hacks with insane precog and foresight, but he also has insanely good AP scaling when you look at the overall picture. But then you kind of got to go to the other side of things, right? You have to go and examine Father from Star Wars. I do have a video coming out, basically a revamped version of my Star Wars scaling, where I get into a how strong is Star Wars and kind of go through it completely. And this will really help give insight into how I scale Father, but I'm going to briefly go over it for the sake of the video. Now, Father from Star Wars is a character who basically represents the balance within the Force. The balance being something between the light and the dark side of the Force, with the Force being something that envelops concepts while simultaneously transcending them. It contains all things like time, space, ideas, death, life, different sorts of dualities, while simultaneously having multiple branches to it, like the cosmic and living force that allows it to touch on every layer and dimension within the verse. This makes the Force an incredibly slept-on concept, with it basically being considered by the likes of George Lucas as a concept resembling almost like a god source throughout the verse. And Father sits as almost like the cosmological entity determined to balance it all. He has two children, son and daughter, who represent the dark and the light side. And as a result, shout out to everyone new to the channel, by the way, but as a result of this stature within the Force, Father has incredible hacks, casual reality warping, incredible AP to the point that son and daughter who scale below him, it was stated they would passively destroy the mortal dimensions and realms if they were to enter it in beef, just by those two beefing with each other. That's insane. On top of that, he can see the future. He scales above things like time, space, fate, and all that, and basically has every hacks within the Force that you could imagine. The only thing really holding him back is he's not an aggressive character. As he is balanced, he is kind of like the reasonable one. So he's very level-headed and rarely overdoes it with power, although his best feat is probably running down on Abeloth after she beats son and daughter and beating the shit out of her. But anyways, if Father versus Yhwach were to take place, how do I think this would go? Well, I think there's kind of two overlying arguments between the two. One, the big win con for Yhwach is his versatility, hacks, and future sight. If he's able to see everything coming that Father could attempt, if he could see what the Force is and stuff, he could start manipulating Father, trying to perhaps out-hacks him and clutch the victory there. For Father, it's pretty simple. You just have to argue he outscales Yhwach. You would argue the Force itself has better scaling than the Bleach first, and as a result, Father, being how high up in the cosmological structure of Star Wars he would be, he would simply outscale Yhwach. Now, between these two win conditions, what do I see the results being? I would probably favor the likes of Father. I think it's a little more reasonable to argue he just outscales Yhwach and would take him down that way. But if you were to argue Yhwach out hacks, I totally understand. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the live chat, and let me know what you think in the comment section down below if this becomes video format. Again, shout out to Dan for purchasing it, but those are my thoughts on Father and Yhwach. Yeah, peace. So, that's kind of the last video topic, so to speak, I got out the way for this stream. Yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? Y'all can donate. Y'all can maybe just post something I find extremely interesting. It doesn't really matter. Let's see what y'all are talking about. Welcome everyone that's new to the channel, by the way. One Piece is pretty good. I resumed this week. Yeah, I haven't had an issue at all with One Piece. Pretty good. Not amazing, but it's good. I will say, for kind of announcements, I'm thinking about starting a podcast / live stream series. I have plenty of guests I can go through, as well as I can just, do my own thing as well. So I'm considering doing that. What do y'all think? That's potentially something I would do. Shout out to Ken Trondo with the donation. I appreciate you so much. Trondo, you got any topics, what ifs, explanations you want to hear for that $2 of yours? Three Heavenly Kings versus the Avengers. Are you considering? Are you talking about Toriko? Avengers eventually, like the higher ups, would outscale at that point, but they could easily, like the Three Kings could easily lay out most of the Avengers, but the highest scaling ones would take them out. Yeah, my podcast, I'd feature a bunch of different content creators. I'd hang out myself, answer a bunch of questions, talk about updates in the community, updates in like power scaling in comics, some animes as well. I think Star Wars would struggle heavily in Bleach for like the average Jedi. Like the stronger hollows are going to be a problem for sure. I think I'll structure the podcast / live stream as well. Chuck's fine. Chuck's doing all right. Just spoke to Chuck the other day. He was editing a video. Toriko versus Garu. Garu eventually loses to the higher ups in Toriko. Kenpachi versus Maul. Kenpachi's God stomps. Darth Malgus was a dope Star Wars character for sure. Well represented the Sith Juggernaut archetype. There's probably some characters in fiction you could consider boundless, for sure. How strong is the Transformers verse? They actually, you know what? They easily have multiversal, hyperversal to even outer for the really strong characters. Like Unicron, who I mentioned in my video, he's strong as fuck. He's strong as a bitch. I'm kind of waiting on someone to like purchase like a Transformers verse scaling. Like I read a lot of Transformers shit a couple years ago, so I have a bunch of it. Off top of my head, who's the strongest character in fiction? Midnighter. Now what? Nah, I don't know. I haven't read all fiction, so I don't know. How much would like a scaling of Transformers be in the verse? Probably. Well, if it's a cosmology video, 30. If it's a cosmology shit, $30. Hit the Cash App. If you need my Cash App, I can link it. Well, actually, I think my Cash App is in the video description. Could Midnighter solo Latveria? Absolutely not. Am I hyped for the upcoming DC movies? I wouldn't say hyped is the right word. I'm interested, which is better than nothing. Prior to that, I had no particular interest. Before the slate was announced, after the slate's announced, I was like, okay, that's not bad. It's not bad. I can work with that. So we'll see. Midnighter would lose to Doom, obviously. It just gets out hacks. I will say Midnighter's computer brain's actually considered one of the strongest things in the verse. Nah, King does get bullied in his own verse. There's no doubt about that. Does Human Torch have a lot of jobber moments? He definitely has some, at least. Like, I know of some. Prometheus jobbed to Midnighter. Midnighter beat Prometheus when Prometheus had prep on him. Appreciate the love, Nick. The Emperor of Mankind would fuck up Star Wars. I love the Wildstorm verse. I love the shit out that verse. I think I'm gonna set my podcast times to 9 to 10:30 ish, probably. What do y'all think? Eight. I think I would take. I'm at about chapter 600, Prem. I start back this week. Let me hold on. I'm taking like notes on the live cast series. Hold on. The Dr. Goons Show. Let's keep it simple. How much for you to make a power scaling video on a novel that's 191 chapters? I'll do $1 a chapter. Plus, if you want a video on it, that'd be like 200. The Dr. Goon Show. Adam, Record of Ragnarok vs. Kratos. Shout out to the donation from Ken. I would say Kratos just like outscales outright. Adam's a dope character with really cool hacks, but he would be like probably scale below Heimdall, and as a result would probably get washed. What's good? What's good? Alright, so I'm gonna take 2 days off a week for Altair vs. Goddess Stories Loki. That's a tremendous battle. While both have similar hacks, shout out to Spartan for the donation. I think Altair probably outscares. Altair is absolutely busted. So Loki probably just gets outscaled by Altair. And is much more aware than Loki is. Loki kind of bullshits. Yo, this podcast is going to be so good. But anyways, guys, I didn't have that much time before work. I was having internet issues, but we will have our first podcast tonight, as well as I'll get you a video before the podcast. I'll probably get you the Hulk video. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Been your boy, Jobbers and Goons, aka Dr. Goons, and I will see y'all later. Peace.